Hello, welcome to another week's reading vlog. I don't know if this is gonna be a week's reading vlog though. I don't know how long this is gonna go on for, but welcome to a reading vlog and the first in what I hope will become a series of videos. As you can tell from the title, I haven't titled this like weekly reading vlog. This is Read It Like ... book roast this week. So my plan, folks, I've been thinking about doing this for a little while and have finally taken the plunge because this week I have a week of like not needing to read TBR Pursuit books, so it's kind of a free week. So this week is the week I've decided to start this. I want to do a series of Read It Like Someone, and I've taken the title from Bend It Like Beckham but with books, which is also a pretty good title. Bend It Like Beckham but books. So many bees. If you're not familiar with Bend It Like Beckham, it's a movie about a girl that wants to play football but her family don't want her to play football and she wants to play football. Nothing to do with football here though, I just like the title. So, Read It Like Book Roast, where I have asked G from Book Roast for a list of, I did ask for 5 to 10 of her favourite books. I was given like 20, which is fine. I can work with that, it gives me more choice. But yeah, she's given me a list of her all-time favourite books and I'm going to read nothing but books on that list for a week. I would like to get through, say, 4 of them, but we'll see. There's no promise that I will get through all of them at all, but I will touch on the ones that I have already read. However, top of her list is Red Rising by Pierce Brown, but that is on my January TBR Pursuit, so I'm gonna hold off on that one until a little ways in, because if this does roll over into January, which it may do, or it definitely will do for 3 days, I don't know about anything else. But yeah, I'm gonna hold off on Red Rising, but that is number 1 on her list. Number 2 on her list is The Humans by Matt Haig, which I know she read fairly recently, so I want to start with this one. I recently read a Matt Haig book, one of his middle grades, A Boy Called Christmas, and did not like it, so I'm really hoping that dipping into his adult stuff I will like a lot more. This one sounds really fascinating. It's about an alien that's come down to Earth and has to like impersonate a human. However, everything about human existence is repulsive to him and he finds it all really bizarre, so it's like an outside perspective on human existence and it sounds fascinating to me. I know that G absolutely loved it, hence it being so high on her list. So book 1 for Read It Like Book Roast is going to be The Humans by Matt Haig. Shouldn't take me too long, it's not that long, but we will see. I'm excited about it. That is pretty much the plan for this vlog. I'm gonna read it like book roast, read nothing but those books listed on her favourites list. As I say, some of them I have already read, like A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. I liked it, didn't love it, haven't read the sequel to that, so I have already read that one on her list. Strange the Dreamer is also on her list. I have read that, loved Strange the Dreamer, hated Muse and Nightmares. And she's also got Crooked Kingdom, the second book in Six of Crows, on there, which I read and liked, but again didn't love. What else have we got on here? Themis Files, which I adore. That's pretty high on her list, and I've read the first 2 books in that. Haven't yet got to the 3rd one, but I know I adore that. So yeah, it's a bit up and down. Me and G have always said, like, some books we really agree on and some we really don't. We do have quite varying tastes. It's what makes things interesting, you know? I am going to be kicking this off with The Humans and see what I think of that. And if this goes well, I do hope to make Read It Like... Caught me like right in the middle of vlogging.
Oh my god, hi! Hello!
So if this goes well, I do hope to make this a series. I will be reading other people's favourite books, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. Kicking it off with G from Book Roast because she is one of my favourite people ever and definitely someone I associate with like my beginnings on BookTube, so it felt only right to start with her. I'm curious about The Humans, so let's get some reading done. Hello, it is much later on Monday. It is actually now Tuesday morning, but we won't talk about that. Progress made in The Humans. I am now about halfway through this. I'm up to page 155, which I think actually might be exactly halfway. And I am really, really enjoying this. So it's funny, but also like really like dark and meaningful, but also humorous, and it's mixed together in a really nice way. Comparing the writing style of this one to Matt Haig's other book that I've read, A Boy Called Christmas, I definitely prefer it in this. I feel like the humour comes out a lot better, and also it's just really thought-provoking, because we follow this alien who's inhabited a human's body and is experiencing humanity from an outsider's perspective, so it's an analysis of humanity from the perspective of a creature that is repulsed by humanity. It's just really fascinating, and there's like commentary on how everything that humans do to make them happy actually make them miserable, and how we live our short, meaningless lives in misery and then die and wonder how we could have spent the time better. Like, it's really quite awful, but it's also humorous, and I'm having a really good time with it. It's also a very fast-paced read, in my opinion. The chapters are very quick, it's very quick to fly through. I'm having such a good time with this. I've just been doing some like reading with Steph on FaceTime. I had to stop for a little bit and just chat with her about what my brain was doing, because I was like, this is really confusing me. Like, how do I feel? Is this funny, or is this really deeply thought-provoking? And it's a bit of both, and I am really enjoying it for that. Hopefully I can get this one finished tomorrow. That is indeed the plan, and we will see how my rating goes, but I'm predicting that this is going to come out pretty high, so G is off to a fabulous start with The Humans. I'm really, really enjoying this, and the dog is adorable, and his relationship with the dog is adorable. But yeah, very fascinating. I feel like this could take a sad turn in the second half, but we will find out about that. But yeah, so far so good. Really enjoying it. Confuzzling my brain, but we like this. We like it so far. Hello, it is catch-up time. It's actually now Wednesday, but I have done a lot of reading since we last spoke. I did finish The Humans. When we last spoke, I'm pretty sure I was telling you that this was going very well and I was really enjoying it. It was a great mix of humorous but also like dark and meaningful, and kind of did make you contemplate life. That's definitely how it continued, and I did end up really, really enjoying this. After I finished it, I was in sprints with Molly at the time when I finished it, and I just sat there for a while after finishing it, just like, well, now what? Like, wow. So definitely had an impact. I have already told you what this is about, so I'm not going to go over that again, but it was really fascinating and I was completely compelled. The intrigue was so high because I was so curious about how things were going to impact other things that were done, like with the characters, like how they were going to react to certain things, and how our alien character would react to certain things. It was just really fascinating and intriguing, and I had a very good time with it. It was a very quick read. The writing style was so easy to just fly through, and as I already said, that great mix of humorous but also really dark and meaningful. But I just had such a good time reading this. I mean, it's only diddly, but yeah, first book from G, absolutely loved it. I have put it through Quarterpile, and honestly, the result shocks me, because I was expecting this to come out at a 5-star read, because the intrigue, 10 out of 10 for intrigue, but it's come out at a 4. I've given it an 8 for characters and an 8 for atmosphere, and I do think they are the lowest points in this, because I don't think that's the point. The point is the plot and the intrigue, I think. The characters and the atmosphere, less so. Well, I mean, the atmosphere is just modern day, is it Cambridge? I think? Yeah, modern day Cambridge. Like, the atmosphere isn't anything shocking, but it was still very well done. So 8 for characters and atmosphere. Writing, I gave a 9, which in comparison on my core pile spreadsheet looks ridiculous, because the last book I read was a Matt Haig book and I gave the writing a 3. And we've jumped from a 3 to a 9 between his middle grade writing and his adult writing, so that's something. Then I gave plot a 9, intrigue a 10, logic a 9, and enjoyment a 9, which brings it out at 8.86, which is a 4-star. But I really thought it was going to be a 5. It's a 4-star read, but it's a very bloody good 4-star read. So I recommend this as well, and Read It Like a Book Roast is off to a fantastic start with a book that I thoroughly enjoyed, and gets 4 out of 5 with a very high 8.86 on Core Pile. If you are unfamiliar with Core Pile is actually a rating system that was created by Book Roast, so even more fitting that I'm doing it for this video, but I have been using it all year. If you search on YouTube for Core Pile, Cawpile, you will find her video on it where she has a downloadable spreadsheet, and it's just a way to break down your rating into those categories I've just been through, and it generates your star rating based on how you rate those individual elements. You can download the spreadsheet and do it yourself. So yeah, book 1, done, really enjoyed. Now, book 2, The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. Now this is the second book in the Mistborn series, so it's kind of cheating in that I've already read the first one and I know that I love it, but Mistborn was on her list, so I'm going to be reading The Well of Ascension. I actually started it yesterday already and am 106 pages in, so already off to a pretty good start with this one. Enjoying it. After finishing the first one, I was a bit like, I don't know where this goes now, I don't know what comes next, but what is happening currently makes complete sense, so that's a good start. Back into this world, back following Vin. I don't want to say too much about what this is about because spoilers for the first Mistborn massively, but Mistborn is the story of, is it Luthadel? I think it's called Luthadel. And in this world there are allomancers, who are people that can ingest metal, and different metals give different powers, and a Mistborn is someone who can ingest all of the metals and have all of the powers. And in the first book, a powerful allomancer finds kind of a street girl who has these Mistborn abilities and wasn't aware of them, and they lead a revolution. There's obviously so much more to it than that, but I do not want to risk spoiling anything. So far so good with this. Brandon Sanderson's writing is so easy to read, and it shocks me that I was so intimidated of it for such a long time. I said that 2020 was the year that I wanted to read more Brandon Sanderson, and I read 3, so that was that. Well, I say more Brandon Sanderson. I wanted 2020 to be the year that I actually read some Brandon Sanderson because I hadn't read any. But his writing is so easy to get through. So I feel like I've got through those first 100 pages in very little time at all, but I'm definitely enjoying it, looking forward to continuing. So yeah, I will update you when I have made more progress in this, but I feel like book 2 is also going to be pretty highly rated because it's a series that I've already started, so kind of cheating, but it's on her list so it's permitted, and I'm looking forward to getting further in this series and finding out more about what this book is going into, because as I say, after the first one I'm a little bit like, well, what now? But yeah, so there we go, books 1 and 2 on the list. I feel like I'm making good progress, but yeah, I will check in with you at some point when I have more to say. Hello, I thought it would be time for an update. I feel like I haven't updated you in a little while. I'm still going with Well of Ascension, however I feel like I've made some pretty decent progress. I'm up to page 471, which is the start of part 4, so I'm doing pretty well. I would like to finish this tomorrow, ideally. It is currently New Year's Eve. It is the 31st of December 2020. We are seeing in 2021 pretty soon, hurrah! And this will then be my first read of 2021 because I'm not finishing it before then. So it would be nice to get it finished on the 1st and get it done, and that way I will still have plenty of time left to squeeze in some of G's other favourites. But thoughts on this remain pretty the same. I'm really enjoying it. However, it's not giving me those 5-star feels, but I still have a decent portion of it left. Like, I'm probably only about 65% of the way. Maybe. You can see roughly how far I am. I've still got quite a bit to go. But it's just not giving me those 5-star feels. So hopefully something big happens in the second half to bump that up. But not that 4-star feels is bad, but it is currently giving me 4-star feels. So we will see how the last chunk goes. But yeah, hopefully I will finish it tomorrow and will let you know my final thoughts. But still really enjoying it, definitely having fun reading it. It's just not quite up there, which I thought it would be considering I gave the first one 5 stars. There's still time. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's still time. Hello, update for today. It's just gone midnight New Year's Day, so technically now 2nd of January. I had wanted to finish The Well of Ascension on New Year's Day, however, has not happened. But I am going to stay up and try and get as far through it as I can. Whether I stay up and finish it is perhaps a different matter, but there's not that much of it left, so we'll see. I'm on page 611. I love the bit I've just read, and I'm loving some of the revelations that we are having. I am very intrigued to see where this is going to go, and I don't think this one is going to end with the, like, nicely wrapped up, where's the next one gonna go? Like, I feel like this one's gonna give me an ending that's gonna make me want to read the next one, because there's not that much left, but there are some big questions that I don't think are gonna be answered in, like, 180 pages? 160? 150 pages? I have 150 pages left. I don't think my answers are gonna be answered in 150 pages, so we will see, but I am really enjoying it. There have been a few things that have wound me up a little bit. I feel like there's been some miscommunication that's been kind of played on, but I like where it's going now. But yeah, I will update you when I've finished it, because I'm enjoying it an awful lot right now. I stayed up until 2:30 in the morning to finish The Well of Ascension. I've finished The Well of Ascension. I'm gonna go to bed now, and I will give you, like, proper updates tomorrow. But I needed to stay up until 2:30 in the morning to finish Well of Ascension. That was a necessity. And it has happened. I'm gonna go to sleep now. But, wow.
Yeah, good point.
Hello, this is a really messy angle because you can see, like, the mess of my TBR cart. I apologise about that. Don't focus on that, focus on me. But, hello. It is the 2nd of January now. It is Saturday. And last night / this morning, I said I stayed up till 3 AM to finish The Well of Ascension, which is my second book for Read It Like Book Christ. And I did finish it last night. And I have put it through Core Pile, and it's quite possibly the most boring Core Pile rating I've ever given anything, but it deserves exactly what I've given it. And I've given it 9s across the board, which gets 5 stars. Absolutely a 5-star read. For like the second quarter of it, so we're probably talking like this period of it, I was feeling like it might have been a 4-star read because there was some miscommunication that I wasn't necessarily a fan of, and the romance element of it was a bit too dominant for me, and I wasn't into that so much. But the second half of this, and especially the end of this, absolutely blew me away. I was so into this, hence why I stayed up until 3 AM to finish it. One, I wanted to just for, like, timing's sake, so that I can get on with other things, but also, I needed to know what happened. How I felt about the first book was that the first book was very nice on its own. Like, the way the first one wrapped up felt very whole. Like, it belonged together. It was the end of a story, and I very much felt like I don't know where the next book is going to go. I don't know what's next for this story because it wrapped up quite nicely. This one does not do that. This one does not wrap up nicely. This one leaves us on, like, a holy shit, what happens now? What do they do about this thing that's just happened now. So I am very eager to get to Hero of Ages, like, immediately, but I can't. I have other things to read, but yeah, 5 stars for this, and I can't wait to get to the sequel. The romantic element of it is quite strong, and it was quite strong in Mistborn, in the Final Empire, even. But when it was quite prevalent, but it definitely does have a background role to the overall plot, which makes it a-okay for me. We know I don't like it when romance overshadows it, and I just need to know what they're going to do about what happened at the end of this. And obviously I'm not going to tell you what, because that would be massive spoilers. But it just seems like such a contrast from the first book, where it wrapped up so nicely, to this one where it really didn't. But yeah, it got 9 overall on Corpile because it got 9s across the board. And actually, 9.00 is exactly what the Final Empire got. So it's on par. Where does this come in G's list? Number 5, Mistborn Trilogy. So yeah, The Humans came in at number 2. This came in at number 5, and it got 5 stars. So, done pretty good there, and it's a chunker. My first book of 2021 as well. Amazing. So yeah, 5 stars for this. Thoroughly enjoyed my reading experience. Can't wait to read The Hero of Ages. But moving on from that, the next thing I'm going to be reading is number 4 on her list, which is Descender, Volume 1. This made it onto my TBR Pursuit TBR, which is fabulous, so thank you, Aaron, for that. Did me a solid there. This is obviously a comic. It's a sci-fi comic about an android called Tim, who has the secret to destroying these massive planet-sized robots in his, like, android DNA or something. His machine DNA holds the secrets to the Harvesters, which are planet-sized robots that are wreaking havoc across the galaxy, which makes Tim the most wanted robot in the universe because they want his machine DNA. G adores this. She goes on about it a fair bit. I am very curious to start it, and as I say, it comes out at number 4 on her list. So once I've read this, I will have read number 2, 3, 4 and 5 from her list. And 6 actually, and 7. Well, I've read quite a lot that's already on her list, but we'll do a recap of all of that at the end. But yeah, comes in at number 4, so I'm excited to dive into this. Should not take me too long, so hopefully I will be back to chat to you shortly about what I think of Descender. Hello, we are back at this angle. It is actually the next day. I thought I would come back to you sooner, but I ended up not. I was doing a Patreon live and then stuff happened yesterday. But I did finish Descender Volume 1 yesterday and have run it through Corpile so I can give you my thoughts on G's favourite comic series. Or not series, because I've only read the first one. But I've already told you what it's about. Planet-sized robots. Tim, the android, who has been in some sort of sleep for a decade on a planet that has no life left on it, and he wakes up after the event that these massive harvester robots have arrived and are causing havoc throughout the galaxy. His DNA, it is discovered, is critical to their fight against these robots, and it becomes a hunt, basically, for him. I enjoyed it. Corpile rating, I gave it a 6 for characters. I didn't necessarily feel any development with the characters. I didn't feel particularly strongly about them. Tim was a cutie though. 7 for atmosphere, 7 for writing, 8 for plot, 8 for intrigue, 8 for logic, and 7 overall for enjoyment. So pretty high, but not the highest, and it comes out at 7.29 overall, which is a pretty low 4-star, but still a 4-star. However, I've heard that the series gets better from the first one. So the fact that the first one got 4 stars and the series apparently only gets better is a good thing to know. So what I might try and do today is throw Volume 2 in there and see if I can read this and see what we think of that. I was going to read it last night, but instead I started something else, which I also hope to finish today, so we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can squeeze Volume 2 in today so we can have a bit more of a solid opinion on Descender. But I did really like the first one. It is a comic series that I see myself continuing, so I am going to continue with Volume 2 and yeah, form a more solid opinion on this. I will let you know how that goes. As for what I started yesterday after Descender, Red Rising by Pierce Brown, which is number 1 on G's list. I don't know if when she gave it to me she was ranking them or just listing her top books in no particular order, but this came out at number 1 and she has been saying recently that this is like a new favourite book of all time. I've started Red Rising and I'm hoping that I can finish it today, but we will see. I am currently 163 pages in. I'm up to chapter 22. And this one follows a young man called Darrow, who is a red in this dystopian solar system, mining on Mars. Him and the fellow Reds have been told that they are pioneers for humanity, and their sacrifice in the mines of Mars is for humanity's greater good as they try to colonise Mars. However, he discovers that this is a lie and the Reds are as good as slaves because Mars has been colonised for years already and they're being taken advantage of and, yeah, treated as slaves. We head into an uprising. The cover compares it to Katniss, so Hunger Games, dystopia vibes there. I kind of get where that's coming from. I haven't read the Hunger Games, I don't know. But so far, so good. I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it. But I'm nervous about if I don't love this because both G and Aaron love it. It was Aaron's pick on TBR Pursuit for me, so again Aaron's done me a solid by picking 2 books that I can get into this week, and it's G's favourite, so I really want to love it. But yeah, so far 163 pages in, I'm not sure how I feel. It feels kind of 3-star-ish to me currently, but I'm just under halfway. Hopefully I can finish this today and get through Descender Volume 2 today as well, and we will see how it goes. But yeah, it just feels very generic to me right now. It doesn't feel very special. I'm not getting anything wildly unique, like there's a training academy sort of thing going on, and I'm just not getting great vibes. Like, not loving it, but I will continue, and fingers crossed I will grow to love it because I would really like to. But yeah, making progress with Red Rising as well. So this week, if I can finish all of these books today, I say all of these, if I can finish both of these today, I feel like this week will have been a very successful reading week, and that's awesome. But also a week full of G's favourites, which was the point. But yeah, I will check in with you later on when I've made more progress, have more to say. But yeah, I'm just gonna crack on with those. Hello, I swear, it becomes a Monday and my skin just goes, what? No. Anyway, ignore the mess that's here. It's Monday, as you will have just clocked onto me saying. I did not update you yesterday. I did not update you as to my status of finishing Descender Volume 2 or Red Rising. However, I am happy to report that I did finish both of these last night. However, we then had the Read Rate Review live show, and then I got really tired and headachy, so I went to bed. But I did finish them, I just did not update you. So, let's chat about these. Let's start with Red Rising. This came out like top spot in G's list. This was number 1. And I said that I was not loving it, not hating it, but I was nervous about not loving it. Turns out I didn't love this one. I wanted to so badly, and I'd kind of thought that with all of the hype around it, that I would end up really loving it. Because G adored it, and Aaron also adored it, and it was her pick for TBR Pursuit as she was like pushing her Red Rising agenda on me, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't love it. However, I have been told that the series really picks up and book 1 is definitely the weakest of them. I do own the other 2 books in the trilogy, so the likelihood is that I will continue. But this just didn't feel all that special to me. I've already told you what it was about, so I won't cover that. But I don't know if it is a like victim of its time. Like, when was this published? 2014? Yeah, 2014. So I don't know if it's because it's a dystopian of its time. It's just not that special. It's not that unique. And it didn't give me anything new to love, so I really didn't fall in love with it. But that being said, at the same time, I also didn't hate it. I have nothing really negative to say about it. I just didn't love it and was a bit underwhelmed. I do wonder if the hype played this up more, making me underwhelmed. But at the same time as saying that, I also want to say, like, I didn't expect to fall in love with it because dystopian isn't usually my genre. I mean, it's sci-fi dystopian, so maybe I should have liked it more because I do like sci-fi, but it just didn't do it for me. I have put it through core pile. Characters, I gave it a 5, mainly because I've already forgotten most of those side characters. The only ones I can remember really are Darrow being our main character and Mustang. Yeah, the rest of them kind of slipped my mind. But I suppose they were interesting when reading about them. Like, each of them had like that bit of brutality in them, which makes sense for who they are, what they are, and where they are. I just didn't feel like any of them were necessarily anything special, so 5 for that. Atmosphere, I did like the atmosphere of this. Particular scenes do stick out to me for the atmosphere and like the feel of it. So atmosphere, I gave it a 7. Writing, I gave it a 7. I don't think it was poorly written. I also don't think it was fabulously written. 7 tends to be my go-to for things where it's like, yeah, it was good, it was there, I got on with it, but I don't really have anything to say, so 7. Plot, I gave a 6. There was a big portion of it where I was a little bit like, come on now, what's next? And as I've already said, I just don't think it gave me anything new or interesting. Intrigue, I gave a 7. I just don't have much to say on that, I suppose. But there was a bit of a plot twist, sort of, at the end that did intrigue me. But yeah, 7 for that. Logic, I gave it a 6. There was quite a few places where I was a bit like, eh. So yeah, 6 for logic and 6 for overall enjoyment, because it has just left me with a feeling of average. Like, it feels average to me. So that comes out at a total of 6.29, which is a 3-star read. And 3 stars is not bad, always have to justify a 3-star read, but it just didn't feel special enough to me. But I didn't hate it, and I wouldn't say it's a bad read. And I will continue the series, especially because of what I've been told by other people that it's definitely worth doing so. So that's where we stand on Red Rising. I'm really gutted because this was number 1 on G's list, but it is what it is and we can't all love everything. So 3 stars for this one. And then I finished Descender Volume 2 to kind of give me a better grasp of the series and how it will continue, and I'm happy to report that Volume 2 scored ever so slightly higher than Volume 1, and I see this series getting better. The ending of Volume 2 had me like, and I wanted to grab Volume 3 immediately. Fortunately, like just before I started it, I was gifted Volume 3 by Cassidy. It came through the mail like as I was reading, so I was like, however, I haven't got to this one yet, but I hope to very soon, because the ending of Volume 2, yes, I really enjoyed it, and it's a series that I absolutely want to continue. So Descender has been a hit for me. I have been enjoying it. Volume 2's core pile scores, gave it a 7 for characters, which is slightly higher than I gave Volume 1, just because I grew to care for Tim a little bit more, and I think that's because we were spending a little bit more time with him and the other characters, so I just became a little bit more attached, so that went up a little bit. Atmosphere, I gave it an 8, again that went up a little bit. Writing, 7, plot, 8, intrigue, 8, logic, 8, and enjoyment, 8. So overall it got a 7.71, which is a higher 4-star. But I just see this series getting better, and I'm very excited to dive into volume 3. So yeah, I'm glad that this video has exposed me to Descender, because this excites me a lot. So I'm having a good time with this and can't wait to dive into volume 3. Yay! So that means my reading for this week has been fairly successful. We started out with The Humans by Matt Haig, which got 4 stars from me, and I did really enjoy. Then we moved on to The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, which was 5 stars. Loved, although was a bit of a cheat because I had already read the first one, so I knew I would. Then we went on to Descender Volume 1, which is this one, which got 4 stars and I loved. Red Rising, which got 3 stars and was my least favourite of the bunch. And then Descender Volume 2, which got 4 stars again, and I have been enjoying. So, not a bad reading week. 3 4-star reads, a 5-star and a 3-star. So overall, I would say this has been a very successful reading week, and I trust G's taste. I do like a lot of similar things that she likes, and as I said at the beginning of this video, like, we've discussed how we have similar tastes with quite a lot, but we do have different tastes with quite a lot as well. And I think this has proven that to an extent. Like, I do love some of her faves, others not so much. And I think if we just have a flick through her entire list, that will become more apparent as well. So, number 1 on G's list is Red Rising, which she obviously loves, and I gave 3 stars. The Humans comes in at number 2, which I gave 4 stars. A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which I read quite a long time ago, but I think I gave that one 3 stars as well. It might have been a 4, but it's not a series I've continued with and not one that I imagine myself ever going back to. So, in retrospect, if I rated it any higher than a 3, I would bounce that down to a 3 now. Descender, I have discovered I quite like. Mistborn, I knew I would like. I'd already read book 1, and now I'm further into that series and loving it. The Themis Files, which is Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I've read the first 2 in that series and absolutely adore them, so that's great. Strange the Dreamer, which I did very much enjoy, but really didn't like the sequel. But Strange the Dreamer was a good one. The Name of the Wind is one of her favourites that's been one of her favourites forever that I have never got the courage to read. I do own it and I will read it one day, but haven't got there yet. Dark Matter, again, is one that I really want to get to and one that I think I will love. Would have been nice to get to that one this week, but wasn't going to happen. It's only a week. Then we have My Brother's Husband, which I haven't read, nor do I have much interest in. The Martian, which is another one I haven't read, don't have much interest in. The Rise of Kyoshi, which is an Avatar comic, I think, so I would never read. The Bobbyverse, which I think is a comedy sci-fi, bit quirky if I remember correctly. Haven't read it, unsure if I ever would. And then Six of Crows, but Crooked Kingdom specifically, comes in there as well, which I liked but didn't love. So you can tell from that list there's some similarities in taste and definitely some differences, but that's what makes us us, and that's what makes it interesting. I have really enjoyed making this video. I've enjoyed this week's reading. It's been really motivating for me, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching this video. I really would like to hear your feedback on it, because I plan to do more read it likes. So if you have liked this, then let me know down below. Also, let me know down below who you would want me to do this for in future, who you think I should read it like for a week. That would be fascinating to know. Massive thank you to G for being my guinea pig for this, I suppose. My first tester in my Read It Like series, the pilot episode, if you will. So thank you ever so much to G for that. And thank you to you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, give us a thumbs up, chat to me down below. If you just want to leave an emoji but don't necessarily have anything to say, but just want to let me know you were here. Emoji of the video, a lizard. There's a lizard emoji, right? Let's go with that. But yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye!